Robinho, and Neymar Jr. Those are just the three players that Santos has produced over the years. But Mpilo, why are you talking about Santos? Well, I'm talking about Santos because Kaizer Chiefs are apparently targeting Alexander Gallo to be our next coach. Yeah, or not? We're going to talk about the pros and cons of him coming to Kaizer Chiefs, and we're also going to look at his CV, zoom in, investigate, look at the cups that he has won. We're also going to talk about Jabu Mahlangu and what he has said about Kaizer Chiefs players. Hello and welcome to Kusi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakusi Football Club. The reason why I started by mentioning Pele, Robinho, and Neymar is because Santos over the years has been famous for giving young players minutes and then they just explode and then they get exported into Europe. Now, here's the thing. Why is that even relevant? Because we're talking about Kaizer Chiefs now. Well, it's relevant because Kaizer Chiefs, as we all know, as we've all seen over the years, they are so good with producing talent from the development. But when it comes to those players playing in the first team, we don't see that happening. And we've seen Kaizer Chiefs management talking about the Kaizer Chiefs' way and all of those things. And one of the things that was there in the Kaizer Chiefs era, where Kaizer Chiefs were doing really well, they were taking players from development and they were finding ways to integrate them into the first team. And those players like Abo Jabu Mahlangu, Abo Dr. Kumalo became stars, big stars for the club. And because of that, we were able to not spend money buying other players from other teams, but instead we use our own development as a source of talent. Now, the problem in recent years has been the fact that we've struggled so much to take those players from development and bring them into our first team. Now, if you look at Alexander Gallo being entrusted with the position of technical director in such a huge club that is so good in doing exactly what we're struggling with, it means Kaizer Chiefs might just be looking at, since we can't compete with Sundowns financially, what is the alternative? Because sometimes getting this free agent doesn't work out for Chiefs. So maybe it's better to just go back and say, you know what? We want to trust our development. That's one of the reasons why they got Kevin Johnson, because they want to make sure that we are continuing to produce very good players from our development so that we don't have to be spending a lot of money buying players from other teams, because we don't want to do that. But instead, we want to get a return on the investment on the players that are in the development. So that's the angle that I see working for Kaizer Chiefs in trying to get Alexander Gallo. But who is he? What has he done? Well, let's take this out. Number one, he is a technical director of Santos, as we've spoken about, a team in Brazil. He's 56 years old. He played football, was a defensive midfielder, but now he also coached players like Abo Alisson, Abo Ederson, Man City, Liverpool, goalkeepers though, but that doesn't matter. Also, the other thing about him, I'm reading, is that he also worked. Do you remember Carlos Alberto Pereira, who coached Bafana during the World Cup? Yeah, that one. Yeah, so he worked with him 2002, and then 2004. That's when he started working with Santos. And at that time, that's when they ended up winning the Brazilian Championship, which is good. But he was not the coach. He was the assistant coach. And then after that, obviously, he continued working a lot for a lot of other teams. And that's obviously one thing that is a con about him, because I look at the average time that he spends in a team, it's 0.42 years. And 0.42 years, it's just less than half a year, which means in each team that he coaches, he spends about 4 to 5 months in each team that he coaches. And that does not sound right. Like, if you're averaging over the other teams, I saw when I was reading up about him, some of the teams they left after 7 games of not winning anything. You look at this, you're like, yo, this is not make sure. Given the pressure that comes with Kaizer Chiefs. And yes, he is multilingual, he understands English, but being a person who's worked in Brazil for so long, yes, has left Brazil at some time, but being a person who's barely left Brazil, comes to South Africa, there's a language barrier problem with the players, and then there are just problems. You lose one game, we are on you as Kaizer Chiefs fans. And that's kind of a con, really, because you want a coach to be in an advantage in the most possible way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want distractions and things that will limit his success to be as little as possible, because right now Kaizer Chiefs fans are in no mood to let a coach settle in. If you don't perform in the first game, they want you gone in the second. So I think that's kind of a con. However, things that are a pro is the fact that yes, he was working and has worked for Santos for a very long time. And also, what I will say is that when you look at the football that Brazil plays as a national team, because there's been a lot of fight from the Brazilians, because they don't want this European football, because they think European football is limiting to their players because it's too technical and the players do not express themselves as much as they would. And looking at the players that we have, like Abum Tutuze Shabalala, Nkosi Mpile Ngcobo, and the others who are coming up from development, those are players who like expressing themselves. And if you bring a coach who understands that culture of let the players express themselves, then it might kind of work for our players as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's definitely one of the cons. The pros, I mean. The other con is obviously the fact that he's only won one thing, and it's a Super Cup. Super Cup is just one match. Like, so we can't really say it's a big deal, because if someone wins a Super Cup, that's just like playing one game. It's like, I don't even know why Super Cups are counted, or AMA Cups like Abo Community Shield in England, because that doesn't count to me. It's just one game. Like, it's one game. I know you have to win something first to win a Super Cup, but in his case, I think he just took over, then won the Super Cup, and that kind of worries me. What also worries me is that 76% of you who watch this channel are not subscribed. Why? Why are you hurting me? Please do subscribe for more Kaizer Chiefs content like this and like the video. And now we're going to talk about Jabu Mahlangu. Jabu Mahlangu says he wonders if when Kaizer Chiefs hires a coach, if they sit him down and say, this is our style of play and would like you to kind of adapt into the style of play. And it's a valid thing to wonder about. But then to me, it says, wait, let's take it a step back. Why would we even hire a coach who will have to say, ish, your style is a bit defensive, and here we want to be attacking, want to play football with flair. So would like you to kind of abandon your type of playing and play our football. Because I think that's where the biggest problem is. Because if you are going to appoint a coach who you clearly know that he doesn't play the football that you want to play the Chiefs way, then why are we even interviewing that coach? Like, why would you even waste your time at this point trying to talk to Stuart Baxter? Yes, he won things with Chiefs, but what kind of football was he playing? Also, what kind of players did he have? Because he had Osprey Shabalala, he had Okata, and he had Oye Letsolonyan. He had all these players who had things, well, especially in terms of Shabalala. Even Abo Parke was in his prime then. Those players were able to make things happen by themselves. So sometimes they didn't even need coaching. We're winning with Abo Mashamait and Abo Matoho with their headers. I would argue that under that coach, players were not at their maximum. But since they were so brilliant and the squad that was assembled, that's why the team was able to win. That's why when he came back and the players were not Oshabalala anymore, he struggled. So bringing the coach, knowing very well that it doesn't fit the style, telling him when he's at the interview that this is the kind of football we play, I think that's way too late, because the people who are shortlisted for the interview should be the coaches who already play the football that is similar to the Chiefs' way, right? So I don't understand why we would even get to a point where we're interviewing a person but they still not clear in the football that they're playing. And the other thing is that he says that Kaizer Chiefs lack, I'm paraphrasing him here, a rebellious star player, because he's talking about, he says players like him, Jabu Mahlangu, players at some point would just say, you know what, I don't care what the coach said, what I want to do now is to help the team win. At this point, I agree with him, because I don't see any players who take the game by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm taking it to the opponent and I want the team to win. But all of them, they just played safe. Sometimes these guys don't even know how to open up space to receive the ball. And that is a struggle of mine, that if you can't even see space and run into the right space to get the ball, how are you even going to grab games with the scruff of their necks, right? So I do agree with him. And it thinks that Kaizer Chiefs does have good players. It's just that the timing is bad because the team is struggling. And obviously, because the team is struggling, the confidence gets knocked. And because their confidence is knocked, their performance is also knocked. Do you think Jabu Mahlangu is right? And do you think signing this coach is a good idea, or winning one cup is not good enough for Kaizer Chiefs? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.